Hello, friends. Have you ever looked at someone's success? The writer who published a book, the friend who lost 50 pounds, the entrepreneur who built a company and thought, I could never do that? What if I told you the secret isn't about giant leaps, but something almost invisibly small? What if your entire life could change, not through revolution, but through a daily ritual of tiny, almost effortless choices? This isn't just another self-help talk. This is a story about the physics of human potential. A few years ago, a young man named James Clear was facing a nightmare. In high school, a terrible baseball accident left him with a shattered face, fighting for his life in a hospital bed. His future in sports, something he loved, seemed over. The path to recovery wasn't a single miracle moment. It was brutal, painful, and slow. But James started with one tiny question. What is the smallest thing I can do today to be better than yesterday? He couldn't run, but he could walk to the end of the driveway. He couldn't lift weights, but he could do one body weight squat. He couldn't practice for hours, but he could hold a bat for 5 minutes. He focused not on the dream of playing again, but on the simple, daily ritual of improvement, just 1% better each day. 5 years later, that same young man was named the top male athlete at his university and made the ESPN Academic All-America team. His story and the framework he later built from it is captured in his groundbreaking book, Atomic Habits. Today I'm going to walk you through the 4 powerful laws he discovered. This isn't about motivation, it's about building a system so simple, so foolproof, that success becomes inevitable. Chapter 1. The Power of 1%. We often dismiss small changes. Why bother making your bed if your room is a mess? Why write 100 words if you need a 50,000-word novel? Because of what James calls the aggregation of marginal gains. Imagine an airplane flying from Los Angeles to New York. If the pilot, just after takeoff, adjusts the heading by a mere 3.5 degrees to the south, it seems like nothing. You'd barely feel it in your seat, but over time, that tiny shift changes everything. Instead of landing in New York, you'd end up in Washington, D.C. A small error compounded over a long journey leads to a totally different destination. Habits work the same way. A 1% improvement daily compounds into being 37 times better in a year. Not 365% better, but 37 times better. It's the math of tiny gains. But the reverse is also tragically true. A 1% decline daily means you'll decline to nearly 0 in a year. You won't notice it tomorrow, but you will feel it in a year. The lesson is profound. Forget goals. Focus on systems. Goals are the results you want. Systems are the processes that lead to those results. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So let's build a system that makes good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Chapter 2. Make it obvious and attractive. Our first 2 laws are about making a good habit easy to start. Because a habit is a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic. It starts with a cue. Our brains love cues. Law 1, make it obvious. Your environment is the invisible hand that shapes your behavior. If you want to practice guitar more, don't keep it in the closet. Put it on a stand in the middle of your living room. If you want to eat more fruit, put a beautiful bowl of apples right next to your car keys. I used to scroll on my phone first thing in the morning, so I started charging my phone in another room. On my nightstand, I placed a book. The cue changed, so the habit changed. Here's a powerful technique, habit stacking. Take a habit you already do and stack your new habit on top. The formula is simple. After I, current habit, I will new habit. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write for 5 minutes. After I brush my teeth, I will do 1 minute of deep breathing. You're using the reliability of one habit to cue the next. Law 2. Make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity, the more likely it is to become habit-forming. We need to link our new habit with something we already enjoy. This is called temptation bundling. Want to watch your favorite Netflix show, only allow yourself to do it while on the treadmill or folding laundry? Need to make sales calls? Promise yourself a delicious cup of your favorite coffee only once you've made 3 calls. Remember, we are heavily influenced by our social circles. A habit is attractive if it helps us fit in. Want to get fit? Join a running club or an online community. The shared identity makes the habit attractive. You're not just running, you're connecting. Chapter 3. Make it easy and satisfying. The first 2 laws get you to start. These next 2 are about making sure you repeat the behavior. Law 3. Make it easy. Human behavior follows the law of least effort. We will naturally gravitate toward the option that requires the least work. So you have to reduce friction for your good habits. The most effective way is to master the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read more becomes read 1 page. Exercise becomes put on my workout shoes. Meditate becomes take 3 deep breaths. You're not lowering the bar, you're establishing the ritual, the habit of starting. Once you start, it's often easy to continue, but the magic is in the start. Conversely, to break a bad habit, you increase friction. Want to watch less TV? Take the batteries out of the remote and put them in another room. Want to snack less? Don't buy the junk food. If it's not in the house, you can't eat it. Make it difficult. Law 4. Make it satisfying. This is the golden rule. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. The problem with bad habits, they feel good now, eating the cake, and the pain comes later. Good habits often feel painful now, going to the gym, and the reward comes later. We have to bridge that gap. Give yourself an immediate reward. My friend uses a habit tracker, a simple calendar in her kitchen. Every day she does her 20-minute walk. She puts a big, satisfying red X on that day. Don't break the chain, she says. That visual proof of progress is incredibly satisfying. It turns abstract effort into a visible trophy. And for breaking a bad habit, create a habit contract. Tell a friend you'll pay them $50 if you skip the gym this week. Now the immediate cost of skipping feels painful. You've made it satisfying to follow through. Chapter 4. The story of your identity, but there's a deeper layer here beyond cues and rewards. This is the most important part. Every action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. Most people start with an outcome-based habit. I want to lose 20 pounds. But a more powerful question is, who is the type of person who is fit and healthy? Your habits are how you embody that identity. The goal isn't to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal isn't to write a book. The goal is to become a writer. See the difference? One is about what you want to achieve. The other is about who you are. When you walk into the gym, you're not someone trying to get fit. You think, I am someone who doesn't miss workouts. When you choose the salad, you're not dieting. You think, I am someone who eats healthy food. James Clear tells a beautiful story. 2 people are offered a cigarette. One says, no thanks, I'm trying to quit. The other says, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. They're both saying no, but the second statement comes from a place of identity. That person has closed the door. The habit is no longer part of who they are. So ask yourself, what would a healthy, productive, kind, creative person do in this situation? And then do that thing, one small vote at a time. Chapter 5. The Compounding Journey. Your transformation will not be linear. There will be days you miss the 2-minute habit, days the chain breaks. This is not failure. It is data. The critical move is not to mistake a single lapse for a collapse. The 1% gains are not about perfection, but direction. When you falter, remember the physics. The system is forgiving. A missed day is a single data point in a long upward curve. Simply restart. The best habit takers are not flawless. They are masterful at rebounding without self-judgment. Your identity isn't shattered by a miss. It's solidified by the immediate return to ritual. Remember, the goal was never the 50th page you write or the 100th day at the gym. The goal was the person you became on the way. The writer who shows up, the athlete who trains. The final secret is this. The rituals themselves become the reward. The clarity of the morning page, the energy after the run, these become the new cravings. You are not just building habits. You are upgrading your desires, one tiny choice at a time. You are not just reaching a destination. You are loving the journey itself. So, let's bring this home. You are not stuck. You are just following a system, a set of mostly unconscious cues and rewards that got you to where you are today. To change, you don't need Herculean willpower. You need a new blueprint. Make your good habit obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Make your bad habit invisible, unattractive, hard, and unsatisfying. Start small. So small it's almost laughable. 1 page, 1 minute, 1 healthy meal a week. Don't focus on the mountain. Focus on the step right in front of you. That's how James Clear rebuilt his life from a hospital bed, and it's how you can build the life you want, starting today. Your journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single atomic habit. If this framework resonated with you, if you felt that spark of, I can actually do this, then do 2 things for me. First, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. Every week we break down books like Atomic Habits into simple, actionable lessons to help you live a smarter, wiser life. A community of builders and learners is waiting for you here. And second, in the comments below, tell me, what is one tiny atomic habit you will commit to starting this week? Let's support each other. 1% better. See you in the next video.